गौरवान्विताः राज्यपालाः समागताः सन्ति। मुख्य अतिथयः गोपालस्वामी महाभागाः, रंजन चोप्रा महाभागा, उमा नंडूरी महाभागा, कुमुद शर्मा महाभागा, कुलपतयः कृष्णमूर्ति महाभागाः, श्रीनिवासराव महाभागाः, धर्मारेड्डी महाभागाश्च आगच्छन्तः सन्ति। वेदिकां प्रति समागच्छन्ति। संस्कृत विश्वविद्यालयेन भारत संस्कृति विभागेन भारती सर्वकार विभागपक्षतः गौरवान्विताः महामहिमशालिनः केरलराज्यस्य राज्यपालाः श्रीमन्तः अरीफ मोहम्मद खान महाभागाः, अस्माकं विश्वविद्यालयस्य कुलाधिपतयः गोपालस्वामी महाभागाः, रंजन चोप्रा महाभागा, उमा नंडूरी महाभागा, कुमुद शर्मा महाभागा, अस्माकं विश्वविद्यालयस्य कुलपतयः जीएसआर कृष्णमूर्ति महाभागाः, संस्कृत अकादमी सचिवाः श्रीनिवासराव महाभागाः, तिरुपति देवस्थानस्य कार्यनिर्वहणाधिकारिणः धर्मारेड्डी महाभागाश्च सम्प्रार्थ्यन्ते वेदिकाम् अलङ्कर्तुम्। अहं सर्वानपि उपह्वये इमां वेदिकां विभूषयन्तु तत्र भवन्तो भवन्त इति। अस्माकं सम्प्रदायानुसारेण महान् अयं कार्यक्रमः राष्ट्रगीतेन आरभ्यते। राष्ट्रगीतगानार्थम् अहम् आह्वयामि महालक्ष्मीं वधुप्रदां च।
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मागे, गाहे तव जय गाता। जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
धन्यवादाः। अग्नेनय सुपथाराये अस्मान् विश्वानिरेव वैनानि विद्वान् इति वदति अस्माकं श्रुतिः, अस्मान् बोधयति च। ऋग्वेदोऽपि वक्ति अग्निमीळे पुरोहितं यज्ञस्य देवमृत्विजं होतारं रत्नधातममिति। आर्षसम्प्रदायः अयमस्ति। कोऽपि कार्यक्रमः दीपप्रज्वालनेन आरब्धव्यो भवति, आरभ्यते च। अहं सर्वान् अतिथिवर्यान् सम्प्रार्थये दीपप्रज्वालनेन येन महत्कार्यक्रमं भवन्तः सर्वेपि आरम्भं कुर्वन्तु इति सम्प्रार्थये अतिथिवर्यान्। दीपप्रज्वालनार्थं अहम् अतिथिवर्यान् सम्प्रार्थये।
ज्योतिष्पदेन् प्रासादयामि ज्योतिष्कृतं प्रासादयामि ज्योतिर्विदं प्रासादयामि भास्वतीन् प्रासादयामि ज्वलन्तीन् प्रासादयामि मन्मला भवन्तीन् प्रासादयामि दीप्यमानान् प्रासादयामि रोचमानान् प्रासादयामि यजस्रान् प्रासादयामि बृहज्योतिषं प्रासादयामि बोधयन्तीन् प्रासादयामि जाग्रतीन् प्रासादयामि उद्दीप्यस्व जातवेदो बद्धन्निरतिं मम वसोगच्छमह्यमावह जीवनं च दिशो दिशा।
वैदिक्या प्रार्थनया अयं कार्यक्रमः आरभ्यते। वैदिकं मङ्गलं समाचरन्ति वेदपण्डिताः, तान् अहं सप्रणामम् आवाहयामि।
ॐ प्रणो नः प्रप्रणो देवी देवी नः प्रप्रणो देवी न देवी देवी न देवी सरस्वती सरस्वती देवी न देवी सरस्वती देवी सरस्वती सरस्वती देवी देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजेभिः सरस्वती देवी देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिः सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजेभिः सरस्वती सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती वाजिनीवती वाजेभिः सरस्वती सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती वाजिनीवती वाजेभिर्वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती वाजिनीवतीति वाजिनीवती धीनामभित्यभित्री धीना धीनामभित्यवत्ववत्वभित्री धीना धीनामभित्यवतो अवित्यवत्ववत्वभित्यभित्यवतो अभत्तित्यवतो भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनोभिः यसेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति न बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ।
धन्यवादाः वेदपण्डितानां कृते। अधुना सरस्वतीवन्दनम्।
सरस्वती नमोऽस्तुते शारदे विद्याप्रदे सरस्वती नमोऽस्तु ते 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 करधृत वीणा पुस्तक वरमणिमालालङ्कृत करधृत वीणा पुस्तक वरमणिमालालङ्कृत करधृत वीणा पुस्तक वरमणिमालालङ्कृत सरि म पद प म पद पद सा नि द प म रि स नि द सरि म पद प म पद स पद सा नि द प म रि स नि सरि म पद सरि म रि स नि द प म रि स रि स स नि सरस्वती नमोऽस्तु ते शारदे विद्याप्रदे सरस्वती नमोऽस्तु ते नरहरिसुत विधिलालित नवमणियुत कंभुगळे नरहरिसुत विधिलालित नवमणियुत कंभुगळे सुरसेवित पदयुगळे सुरसेवित पदयुगळे सुरसेवित पदयुगळे सुधाकर समधवळे सुरसेवित पदयुगळे सुधाकर समधवळे स रि म पद प म पद स पद सा नि द प म रि स नि द सरि म पद प म पद स पद सा नि द प म रि स नि सरि म पद सरि म रि स नि द प म रि स रि स स नि सरस्वती नमोऽस्तु ते शारदे विद्याप्रदे सरस्वती नमोऽस्तु ते
धन्यवादाः। अधुना अतिथीनां सम्माननं भवति। अहं प्रार्थये अस्माकं कुलाधिपतिवर्यान् गोपालस्वामी महाभागान् गौरवान्वितान् राज्यपालमहोदयान् सन्मानयितुम्। अधुना अहं सम्प्रार्थयामि साहित्य अकादमी सचिवान् श्रीनिवासवर्य महाभागान् कुलाधिपतीन् सन्मानयितुम्। कुलाधिपतिवर्यान् गोपालस्वामी वर्यान् सम्मानयितुं सम्प्रार्थये। अधुना अहं पुनः सम्प्रार्थये श्रीनिवासराव महाभागान् रञ्जना चोप्रा महाभागां सम्मानयितुं या च कल्चर् मिनिस्ट्री कृते एड्वैसर् भवति तां सम्मानयितुम् अहं सम्प्रार्थये श्रीनिवासराव महाभागान्। पुनः अहं सम्प्रार्थये श्रीनिवासराव महाभागान् उमानंदूरी महाभागां सम्मानयितुं या च जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कल्चर भवति। पुनरहं सम्प्रार्थये अस्माकं कुलपतिवर्यान् GSR महाभागान् कुमुदा शर्मा महाभागां सम्मानयितुम्। या च उपाध्यक्षा साहित्य अकादमी भवति। अहमिदानीं सम्प्रार्थये श्रीनिवासराव महाभागान् कुलपतिवर्यान् सम्मानयितुं GSR महाभागान्। इदानीं सम्प्रार्थये कुलपतिवर्यान् श्रीनिवासराव महाभागान् सम्मानयितुं। अहमिदानीं सम्प्रार्थये श्रीनिवासराव महाभागान् तिरुमल तिरुपति देवस्थानस्य कार्यनिर्वाहाधिकारिणः धर्मारेड्डी महाभागान् सम्मानयितुम्। धन्यवादाः। अधुना स्वागतभाषणं कुर्वन्ति श्रीनिवासराव महाभागाः साहित्य अकादमी।
Om Namo Venkatesaya. Respected Sri Arif Muhammad Khanji, Honorable Governor of Kerala. Respected Sri N. Gopal Swamiji, Chancellor, National Sanskrit University. Professor Kumar Sharmaji, Vice President Sahitya Akademi. Srimati Ranjana Chopraji, Additional Secretary and Financial Advisor to the Ministry of Culture. Srimati Uma Nanduriji, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Culture. Sri A.V. Dharma Reddy Garu, the Dynamic Executive Officer of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams. Professor G.S.R. Krishnamurti Garu, the Vice Chancellor of National Sanskrit University. Dr. M.A. Alwarji, Sri Dinesh Kamatji, All India Organizing Secretary of Samskrita Bharati. Professor Harikeshan Satpatiji, Professor Abhiraj Rajendra Mishra ji, all the scholars, poets, and writers who are assembled here, and friends. Asya Tridivasiyasya Rashtriya Samskrita Sammelanasya Krute Bhavatam Sarvesham Swagatam Krutva Aham Prasannaha Asmi. I am glad to welcome all of you for this 3-day National Sanskrit Convention. Friends, the cultural and literary heritage of India is ancient, vast and rich. Number of traditions that were born here and flourished in the land, and the deep impact they had on many societies and civilizations is something that India alone has achieved in the world. That may come across as an exaggeration, but in reality, it is not. Just a cursory glance at the number of religions, civilizations, languages, cultures that were born and the spread and reach they had all over the world is sufficient. Sanskrit language played central role in the growth and propagation of Bharatiya culture. When one mentions the word Sanskrit, only two things can come to everyone's mind, that is a Deva Bhasha and it is beneficial to anything and everything, all beings, atmosphere, and the whole cosmos. There can never be anything evil or bad or harmful associated with Sanskrit language. Highly mathematical and complete, including the schema for human vocal system in using Sanskrit, the grammar and phonetics of Sanskrit is the earliest refined grammar system in the world, aimed at being beneficial to the speakers, listeners, and the atmosphere around. Sanskrit language is the beautiful illustration of using the sound and has contributed to many knowledge systems in the past 3,000 years. Sanskrit cultural paradigm is universal and encompasses almost entire human existence. Not only religious and philosophical works were written in Sanskrit during ancient and medieval times, but also various sciences and legal digests. Sanskrit contributed to the fields of mathematics, astronomy, metallurgy, agriculture, cognitive sciences, yoga, psychology, dance, music, literature, biology, civil engineering, jurisprudence, and logic, among other fields of knowledge. The range and depth of the influence of Sanskrit can be gauged from the vast numbers of works created in Sanskrit in all these subjects and allied areas. Talking of Sanskrit cultural paradigm and its all-enveloping reach across nations and civilizations, I would like to cite two examples from outside the matrix. Theosophist H.P. Blavatsky in Secret Doctrine and Isis Unveiled says that the river in which Panchapandavas and Draupadi entered to take bath after the Pattabhishekam is the river of Atlantis, and up to that land Sanatana Dharma was prevalent. Another is Greek Indologist Nicholas Kajanas on the supposed Aryan invasion takes the examples from ancient Sanskrit texts and conclude that Aryans moved out of India and not the other way around, and hence it is Aryan immigration theory that is correct and not Aryan invasion theory. So, the hypothesis of many linguists that Sanskrit gave birth to many languages and acted as cradle to many civilizations is more likely to be true, given many sounds in the languages of Europe have Sanskrit roots. In the operation of many human endeavors across the spectrum, one can find Sanskrit as a pioneering in development, systematizing, and refinement of core structures of those fields, be it linguistics, or agriculture, or medicine, and health systems, or jurisprudence, or several art forms, including literature, or astronomy, and astrology, or several sciences like mathematics, metallurgy, and civil engineering. The major religions of the world, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism, were born in India, and Sanskrit had a central role in their birth and evolution. These religions kept the cultural roots of the society intact in diverse ways, and whether Vaidika or Avaidika, Sanskrit texts played huge role in the formation and functioning of laws and norms of the communities. Talking about laws and norms of the society, legal digests in Sanskrit language are easily the earliest advanced formulation of law and justice. In these texts, again contrary to popular perception, there were many, one can find highly refined ideas of justice, judicial powers, crime, punishment, laws pertaining to various social structures. There exists no civilization that had formulated laws and rules so early and in a highly advanced way except in India and featuring Sanskrit legal digests. Today, because of the technological advances and organizations like NASA, many people know about ephemeris, etc., but thousands of years ago, seers in India developed Ganita and Jyotish Shastras, and the Sanskrit text enlist approaches to the preparation of almanacs, determination of planetary positions, calculation of time, week and year, and so on. We in India have determination of planetary positions for thousands of years, whereas even NASA does not have them. I will be happy to be proved wrong. The determination of sap in plants was discovered by Europeans only few hundred years ago, whereas Sanskrit texts of early medieval period clearly mentioned that, and various agricultural practices according to the climate and geography are also enlisted. Like this, in the fields of medicine, biology, and wellness, early Sanskrit texts such as Sushruta Samhita and Charaka Samhita delineates types of human beings, compositions, temperaments, blood types, diseases, treatments, medicines, administration of medicine, etc. Yoga Sutras take it further and proves guidelines for the physical and psychological well-being of peoples. Along with the ecological texts, Sanskrit literature provides overall wellness of the society, plants, animals, and preservation of environment, and the sole purpose of these early texts is to act as guides for the benefit of one and all. Sanskrit poets of the years are called as kavis in the sense of drashtas. These kavis had a holistic perception and poured out verses out of them. One aspect of their work that became darshanas, on the other hand, their vision of oneness of humanity. Only the seers with such a composite vision could come up with a dictum like Vasudeva Kutumbakam and Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Badrani Pashyantu, etc. All other philosophies that are cerebral end up in dividing humanity and lead to bigotry, hatred, and violence. Not only the ancient and medieval Sanskrit texts, but the 20th century Sanskrit compositions like Maitrim Bhajata promote love, peace, harmony, cooperation, and acceptance. Swami Vivekananda once wrote that those who have noble thoughts and leave them in cosmos without even caring to express them are greatest heroes, and it is such harmonious thoughts that lead to sustainable living across generations and centuries. It is in this spirit that the theme for G20 for the year 2023, in which India is the chair country, that our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi has kept as one earth, one family, one future, and it is the clearest expression for the contemporary world of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We are happy to organize this 3-day National Sanskrit Convention in this divine abode of Tirupati. This convention is a series of events visualized by the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, to take Sanskrit language, literature, and culture are beneficial always to the masses and at grassroots level. It is one thing is to highlight the grand nature of Sanskrit language and the past glory, and it is entirely different thing to understand the present status. But to take Sanskrit to grassroots level, one should understand fully the potent and glory of the language and literature. That is the primary reason for this National Sanskrit Convention and subsequent planned programs pertaining to different subjects. Again, one should not think that it is an act of enforcement, but rather a motherly guidance to retrace one's cultural roots. And in this act, there is no ahamkara, and in the absence of ahamkara, the light of the self shines forth and heals one and all. In this convention, various perspectives related to Sanskrit language, its contribution to several disciplines, and much more will be presented and discussed by distinguished Sanskrit scholars. We are happy to organize this convention in alignment with our Honorable Prime Minister's visionary scheme of Ek Bharat, Shresh Bharat, in tune with Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We thank the Ministry of Culture, without whose support, encouragement, and patronage, this program would not have materialized. This program is being organized under the aegis of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and we thank all the officials of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav section of the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. We also thank National Sanskrit University, Tirupati, and its Vice Chancellor, particularly Professor G.S.R. Krishnamurthy Garu, and the Chancellor, Gopala Swami Garu, for collaborating with us in organizing this convention. I will be failing in my duty if I do not acknowledge and thank Samskriti Foundation, Mysore, and Dr. M.A. Alvar for standing with us from the beginning and offering guidance and help in conceptualizing this convention. And he always behind the curtain. He doesn't want to share the dais. He was sitting in front of us. Alvarji, thank you so much. With these few words, I am glad to welcome all of you once again, and I sincerely hope everyone participating and attending this convention stands benefited. Thank you all.
अहमिदानीम् अस्माकं कुलपतिवर्यान् GSR मूर्तिमहाभागान् उपह्वये introductory remarks कृते।
श्रीमद्भ्यः गुरुभ्यो नमः। वंदे संस्कृत मातरम्। अहं सिंपल संस्कृत मध्ये एव भाषे संस्कृतमेव। गोपालस्वामिनं वंदे। सज्जां रंजनीं तथा उमां संयुक्त सचिवां रंजनीं तथा उमा संयुक्त सचिवां धर्मारेड्डी महोदयं आरिफ मोहम्मद आख्यान राज्यपाल महोदयान श्रीनिवासार्य मुख्यान तदीयान कर्मचारिणः आल्वारं सादरं वंदे सम्मान्यां कुमुदाभिधाम्। अत्र ये विद्यमानाः सन्ति ताः सर्वाः तेषां सर्वासामपि वन्दनं कृत्वा संखाय प्रमुखान् प्रवाचकवरान् व्याख्यातृवृन्दारकान् अभिराजार्य मुख्यांश्च अवधान शिरोमणीन् आचार्येभ्यः अभ्यागतेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतं व्याहराम्यहम्। उत्तरं यत् समुद्रस्य हिमाद्रेरेव दक्षिणं तद्वर्षं भारतं नाम भारती यत्र संस्कृतिः। इयं संस्कृतेव सर्वत्र समग्रस्य विश्वस्य आधारशिला आसीत्। एतद्देशप्रसूतस्य सकाशादग्रजन्मनः स्वंसं चरित्रं शिक्षेरन् पृथिव्यां सर्वमानवाः इति। एतत् कारणेनैव संस्कृतेः भारतं जगद्गुरुस्थानमलभत। अधुना संस्कृतिः संस्कृताश्रिता इति कथ्यते। तर्हि संस्कृताश्रिता संस्कृतिः भवति चेत् संस्कृतेन विना कथं संस्कृतिः वर्धेत। मूलच्छेदे सति कथं काण्डाः शाखाः पत्राणि भवन्ति। यद्देव संस्कृतिं विना कथं संस्कृतिः न भवति। आसामतः इत्युक्ते अद्य मध्याह्ने आगच्छन्ति अस्माकं राज्यपालमहोदयः गुलाबचन्द्र कटारिया महोदयः आसां राज्यात्। अत्र समागताः सन्ति अस्माकं राज्यपालाः महामहिमशालिनः आरिफ मोहम्मद खान महाभागाः। पश्यन्तु कथं वा संस्कृतेः तत्र संयोजनमस्ति। तेनैव कारणेन ईशान्यप्रदेशात् वायुव्यप्रदेशं वायुव्य भारतं प्रति कश्चन सम्बन्धः वर्तते। अत्र ये केचन समागताः सन्ति विश्वस्य भारतस्य विभिन्नकोणेभ्यः समागताः सन्ति। तत्र संस्कृतिरेव कारणं, संस्कृतमेव कारणम्। अनन्तरं च संस्कृतं न केवलं भाषा, इदं च विज्ञानं, कला, आयुर्वेद, स्वास्थ्यविज्ञानं भवति। सर्वाण्यपि विज्ञानानि अत्रैव सन्ति। अत्र अस्माकं मान्याः कुलाधिपतयः एकस्मिन् सन्दर्भे किञ्चित् भाषणं दत्तवन्तः। मानसारात् तत्र माने तत्र मन्दिराणां निर्माणे तत्र विग्रहाणां निर्माणे च कथं वा भवति, कथं स्त्रीविग्रहः कर्तव्यः, पुरुषविग्रहस्य कृते कीदृशी शिला स्वीकार्या इति प्रायः 1997 मध्ये तेषां भाषणं मया श्रुतं। ततः आरभ्य अनेन किं प्रयोजनमिति सर्वेषाम् अस्मादृशानां चिन्तकानां कश्चन तत्र विचारः कृतः। तेनैव विचारेण what is the relevance of Sanskrit to modern world, what is the relevance of Sanskrit to Shastras to modern world, इयं समस्या अस्ति, ज्वलन्त समस्या इयं। तदानीं वयं पठामः अस्माकं मध्ये के सन्ति, कानि शास्त्राणि सन्ति इति कथयामः चेत् 20 शास्त्राणि अधुना अस्माकं ज्ञानात् बहिर्गतानि। हम तो भूल गए, जैसे सोपशास्त्र है, जैसे अश्वशास्त्र है, गजशास्त्र है, इतने शास्त्रों का कहाँ चले गए तो मालूम नहीं। एक संदेश में एक आया, मैंने उसमें इसका इकट्ठा करके सोचे तो 20 शास्त्रों का उल्लेख यहाँ है, इनके बारे में हमें कुछ भी मालूम नहीं। हम तो जितने कलाएँ हैं, जैसे फाइन आर्ट्स कहते हैं ललित कला, संगीतम, काव्यम, नाट्यम, शिल्पकला, अनन्तरं चित्रकला, इवा कलाः अपि संस्कृतादेव उद्भूताः। मानसारग्रन्थात् तिरुमलतिरुपतिदेवस्थानानां तत्र एकवारं दृष्टवान् अहं। मानसारग्रन्थमेव पुरस्कृत्य ते विग्रहान् निर्मान्ति। कस्तूरीतिलकम् इत्यादि श्लोकमाध्यमेनैव तादृशविग्रहाः निर्मीयन्ते स्म। कथं वा भवति इति तत्तु शिल्पशास्त्रं। तर्हि शिल्पशास्त्रस्य विषये अस्माकं संस्कृतं नास्ति। कला विषये नाम रञ्जनकला विषयेपि अस्माकं संस्कृतं नास्ति। सङ्गीतमपि संस्कृतात् बहिर्गतमिव भाति। इतः पूर्वं ये नृत्यानि कुर्वन्ति स्म ते संस्कृतं सम्यक्तया जानन्ति स्म। बी.आर्. चोपड़ा महोदयः यदि महाभारतं कृतवांश्चेत् तेषां मूलं संस्कृतमेव भवति। रामानन्दसागरः यदि कदाचित् रामायणं निर्मितवांश्चेत् मूलं संस्कृतमेव भवति। तादृशाः जनाः गताः। अधुना तु वयं केवलं काव्यानि पठित्वा किञ्चित् शृण्मः चेत् काव्ये समग्रमस्ति इति वयं जानीमः। किमस्ति इति पृच्छामः, बुभुक्षितं व्याकरण, बुभुक्षितैः व्याकरणं न भुज्यते, पिपासभिः काव्यरसो न पीयते। माने एवं रूपेण भवन्ति चेत् अस्माकम् आजीविका विद्याः सर्वाः अपि बहिर्गताः। तेषां सर्वेषां संस्कृतेनैव योजनं भवेदिति अयं कार्यक्रमः अत्र सञ्चाल्यते। तत्र कारणीभूताः अस्माकं प्रधानमन्त्रीमहोदयाः। अनन्तरं च भारतीयसंस्कृतेः महत्त्वं दातुं संस्कृतिमन्त्रालयः, मन्त्रालये ये विद्यन्ते तत्र अधिकारिणः, अस्माकं या संयुक्तसचिवा भवति उमा नन्दूरी महाभागा, एवमेव अत्र अस्माकम् उपाध्यक्षा भवति कुमुद महाभागा, साहित्य अकादमी सचिवाः भवन्ति एते श्रीनिवासराव महाभागा, एते सर्वैरपि विचिन्त्य संस्कृतेन सह सम्बन्धो भवेत्। अस्माकं प्राक्तनं यदस्ति तत् बहिरानेयम् इत्यनेनैव संकल्पेन शिवसंकल्पः जातः, शुभसंकल्पः जातः, शुद्धसंकल्पः जातः, सिद्धसंकल्पो भवेदिति मोदः प्रमोद आनन्दः। अयम् उपक्रमः सामान्यमेव भवति। अनेन उपक्रमेण अस्माकं ये भावि भारतपौराः सन्ति, अस्माकं छात्राः सन्ति, ये महान्तः विद्वांसः सन्ति, तेषां दृष्टिः अत्रैव पतेत्, अग्रे सारणं कुर्मः इत्यनेनैव संकल्पेन अत्र अयं कार्यक्रमः निर्दिष्टः। तत्र मया प्रार्थना कृता अयं कार्यक्रमः सर्वप्रथमम् अत्रैव भवतु। नामकरणं कृतम् अस्माकं कुलाधिपतिमहोदयैः संस्कृतसमुन्मेषः इति। उन्मेषः इति 22 भाषाणां कृते उन्मेषकार्यक्रमः एभिः सञ्चालितः शिम्लानगरे। तर्हि संस्कृतसमुन्मेषो भवति इति कृत्वा सर्वजागरण जनानां जागरणं कर्तुमेव वयं यत्र ये प्रतिभागिनः स्मः सर्वेपि पद्भ्यां गत्वा वीधि नाम तत्र गत्वा अस्माकं संस्कृतस्य जागरणं कृतं। तत्र अस्माकम् अल्वार् महोदयाः मैसूरुतः समागताः सन्ति संस्कृति फौण्डेशन्तः। तेषां सहयोगेन अस्माकं साहित्य अकादमी सहयोगेन संस्कृतमन्त्रालयस्य च प्रोत्साहनेन तत्र शक्तित्रयमागतम प्रभुशक्ति, मंत्रशक्ति, उत्साहशक्ति, ये तीन शक्तियाँ जब रहेंगे उसका तो आगे बढ़ने का बड़ा मौका मिलता है। इसी का जो है हम भगवान जी से प्रार्थना करते हैं। इस शुभारंभ से पूरे विश्व को हम दिखाएंगे हमारे संस्कृत के साहित्य में जो शास्त्र है, जो हिडन नॉलेज है, उसको आगे ले जाने के लिए हम प्रयास करते हैं। केवल इतना ही है, यही कहना चाहता हूँ। अब संस्कृत में सब कुछ है, उसका कुंजी संस्कृत भाषा में है। वो कुंजी को हम माने बाहर रखेंगे तो कैसे, हमें खो दिए तो कैसे उसको जो माने खोल सकते हैं। माने जैसे आपका पद्मनाभ अनंत पद्मनाभ से खजाना अस्ति तत्र किं कुञ्चिकी नास्ति चेत् कथम् अन्तः अस्ति इति। अतः अहं प्रार्थये सर्वे वयं मिलित्वा संगच्छध्वं संवदध्वं संवो मनांसु जानताम् इति सर्वेषां कृते विनिवेदनं कृत्वा भगवतः सम्प्रार्थ्य पुनः कार्तज्ञं व्यावृत्य विरमामि। धन्यवादाः। जयतु संस्कृतम्।
धन्यवादाः कुलपतिवर्याणां कृते। अधुना अहं सम्प्रार्थये राष्ट्रीयसंस्कृतविश्वविद्यालयस्य कुलाधिपतिवर्यान् गोपालस्वामी महाभागान् सन्देशप्रदानाय।
श्री वेंकटेश शरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Honorable Governor of Kerala, respected Arif Muhammad Khan ji, dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries of the dais, invited dignitaries, students of this university. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the Ministry of Culture and the Sahitya Akademi for organizing this national convention, aptly named Samskrita Samunmesha, an awakening towards Sanskrit and its treasures. But with a caveat. This is a Sanskrit university. It breathes Sanskrit from day one, from the morning to the evening. So, there is a saying, carrying coals to Daria and Raniganj. So if you are carrying coals, so that is something similar, doing a 3-day convention in a Sanskrit university about Sanskrit. Anyway, I have been assured that it will be taken elsewhere. Actually, it is needed elsewhere. The width and the depth of Sanskrit is not known to many of the students of higher learning in many universities elsewhere in this country. So it is absolutely necessary that such an effort is made. But I would like to warn you, don't do 3 days, nobody will attend. Take one subject and go in depth for half a day in each of these universities elsewhere outside. That is only when Sanskrit greatness will be understood by a generality of the students of this country. For well over 2 millennia, Sanskrit was a dominant language in this country, and it held sway in every aspect of human activity. Through its literature, which spanned a wide spectrum, it was a language of discourse among the learned across the length and breadth of the country, thanks to the vast literature that is available in every branch of human endeavor: theology, philosophy, mathematics, physical sciences, medicine, civil construction, music, dance, fine arts, and so on. This position continued till the middle of 19th century, when changes brought about by the colonial administration led to the diminishing influence of Sanskrit. While change is inevitable part of progress, it need not be through obliterating the past knowledge. And so ways have to be found to preserve it. And as the wheel of time makes full circle, the past gets revived, all but in a new attire. The recent revival of yoga is one such example. There is much more in the past that can inspire the future, and the 3-day convention therefore rightly covers various subjects like poetry, health, science, yoga, music, dance, where exists a large body of knowledge written in Sanskrit. It is for us to find the merit in our traditional knowledge systems, integrated with the best of the current knowledge. The conference would be successful if it achieves that purpose. Having said that, I would like to give a word of caution. I am afraid that the way the secondary and higher secondary education is shaping in this country, Sanskrit learning is in danger. Let me repeat, Sanskrit learning is in danger. You have three-language formula. Everybody knows about this three-language formula. It has been repeated from 1984 in the old education policy to the new education policy 2020. But the one institution which should be a model for others in three-language formula is actually does not implement. I repeat the words, does not implement three-language formula. That is CBSE. CBSE's new policy is 3 languages up to the 8th class, 2 languages 9th and 10th, 1 language 11th and 12th. Now you tell me, who will take what? Sanskrit will be the first casualty. Please be aware that in another 5-10 years, very few students will go to the Sanskrit departments of various universities because they don't know Sanskrit. They didn't have Sanskrit in the 9th and 10th. They don't have Sanskrit in the 10th and 11th and 12th. So what do you expect? Please be aware. This is time to wake up and fight. I am using the word correctly, fight. This policy not being implemented by the CBSE means all other boards in the various parts of the country, various states of the country, they will also follow the same thing. What CBSE does today, the others will follow tomorrow, which means the mother tongues will flourish, English will flourish. But CBSE is against mother tongues also. When I say this, you will be surprised. Yes, because in the 9th and 10th, they will allow you to take a foreign language, as though France, Germany, Italy, Spain, etc., they're all fighting with each other to get you people to work there in that country. So we should learn French, we should learn Italian, we should learn German. So that is the policy. So what will be the casualty? First casualty is Sanskrit, next casualty will be your mother tongue. If you do not wake up today, it is gone forever. So I'm afraid the way the three-language formula is implemented, there is need to, because of this reason, there is a danger. There is a need to apply corrective steps, fight. There is a necessity for all Sanskrit universities to launch campaigns to attract students if they wish to remain relevant anymore. I don't, for lack of time, I'm not going into great details, but there is a necessity for all the Sanskrit universities. There are 16 of them in this country. All of them will have to come together to find out ways and means by which Sanskrit education can be supported. If there is no Sanskrit education in the school, you will have to close your doors soon. So better watch out. Finally, though I thank the Sahitya Akademi and the Culture Ministry, they don't have a part in the Sanskrit education as such, so I can't tell them to do something. But as senior government officers, I'm quite sure they will note down this particular point, and wherever they can influence the decision, please do influence the decision. We will be doing these conventions, but Sanskrit itself is in danger. When I end, I will normally say Jayatu Samskritam, but with this feeling that will I be able to say that 10 years from now? Thank you. Namaskar.
अधुना अहं रञ्जना चोप्रा महाभागां समाह्वये सन्देशप्रदानाय.
Honorable Governor Kerala, Shri Arif Mohammad Khan ji, Chancellor of the National Sanskrit University, Shri Gopalaswamy ji, all the dignitaries on the dais, all the dignitaries of the dais, scholars, the teaching faculty of the National Sanskrit University, students, ladies and gentlemen. I deem it a very big privilege and an honor to be here today. I am very grateful to Sahitya Akademi and the National Sanskrit University for having given me an opportunity to be here amidst such luminaries, such intellectuals and such scholars. I feel very humbled, and I feel that it is a very big blessing for me to be here in this midst. And I'll tell you the reason why I feel that this is a blessed time for me. And while, sir, the Honorable Chancellor was mentioning that it is not appropriate to have the Sanskrit Sammelan and the symposium in the Sanskrit University, I somehow feel that Tirupati is the right place to start this venture, sir, simply for the reason, my reasons are very, very personal. My reason is that we all know this is an undisputed fact that the hills of Tirumala and the neighborhood of Tirupati is a place where the divinity has resided for the last so many centuries. Now, wherever the divinity has resided, the worshippers are also there. And we also know, which is an undisputed fact, that the first dialogue with the divinity was done in the Sanskrit language. So it is in the Sanskrit language that human beings first probably started having its conversations with the divinity and making an attempt to understand the divine. Now, in case we look at this correlation, I feel that Tirupati would be the right place to start this endeavor. But however, the point that has been made here is absolutely valid, that you can't be teaching, talking about Sanskrit in a university where people know much more about Sanskrit than the people who are on the stage and speaking on it. So I think to that extent, it is the need of the hour to take this message to other universities, to other regions, to other places. And I assure you, sir, that from our side, whatever best we can, we will take this message to the other institutions of higher learning, definitely. I was told that this convention is happening, and I said that I also have a personal reason for feeling blessed that I am here. I will not name the author, but a Western author has been writing certain things about Hinduism and Hindu culture, by which it appears that it is being denigrated, and there is a lot of resistance in our country. And about 4 months back, when I read about that author, I was also very raged. So hence, I started my own journey to understand the Hindu religious texts better. And when I started this journey, and then I realized that how inadequate my attempt will be, and the inadequacy of my attempt or my journey to understand myself and my religion lies in the fact that I don't understand Sanskrit. There are two reasons. The first is that whenever whatever little that I have read, like I think it may not be right for me to make these comments because I have such erudite scholars sitting here in this hall. But Sanskrit in the modern India has actually just become a language of liturgy. So Sanskrit is a language which is usually used in households today as a language to conduct certain rituals. So whenever we have the Homer or anything performed in our house, and whenever the priest is chanting the shloka, so that is Sanskrit. So that is our only introduction or interface with the Sanskrit. But in our religious texts, there is a non-duality of yagna and tapa. There is no doubt about it. So what is happening is, while the priest is chanting, we who are the jajamans who are sitting here to be blessed, we don't understand what the priest is saying. So to that extent, our effort seems to be incomplete. So today it was a very nice moment for me when Chancellor Sir was explaining the science behind the Vedi and what are the priests chanting and the meaning, a little bit of the meaning or the context of the priest that was chanting. That made me realize that how inadequate our conducting the Homer at home is if we don't understand what the chantings or what the meaning or what the priests are saying is. So this is one reason I feel that knowledge of Sanskrit is very important today. And the second reason I feel that I personally should be starting my journey and trying to learn a little bit of Sanskrit, because very recently I have started reading the Upanishads, written by Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. And Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, as you would all know, when he became President of India, he was acknowledged as a scholar king. And in case you've had the opportunity of reading this book by him, you would realize that even the English that he has written is so beautiful that while you're reading it, you are wondering as to how somebody can actually put the words together so beautifully in a sentence. But the fact remains that as I am reading deeper into the book, and the author is mentioning or explaining certain phrases, and whenever I am trying to understand the meaning of those phrases and doing a little bit of my research with the help of Google, I am finding that this one Sanskrit phrase, which has been interpreted by Radhakrishnan in a particular manner, has been interpreted by other scholars and authors very, very differently. So this means that when we may talk of Upanishads and the Vedanta and the knowledge, the deep knowledge that these contain, but all these knowledge systems are to be interpreted by one's own self, because one's own reality and context is so different that unless and until you can understand it, read it in original and make your own understanding or comprehension of it, you won't be doing justice to the text. So this is also motivating me to now learn a little bit of Sanskrit so that I can, in my own simple, humble attempt, try to read the religious texts, the Vedas in particular in original, the Upanishads in original, and try to make my own meaning out of that. And I'm sure that today, with so many scholars and illuminaries being present in the hall, I will definitely be able to make a small roadmap for my journey. I will be taking some guidance from the scholars who are here, seeking their blessings and starting my journey in this. And finally, I would like to once again thank the National Sanskrit University for having very kindly hosted the Sammelani today, and for all of you for having participated and making it a big success. Thank you very much.
Aham aduna samprarthaye umananduri mahabhagam sandesha pradhanaya.
Namaskar. Respected dignitaries on the dais, Sri Arif Muhammad Khan ji, Honorable Governor Kerala, my friend Ranjana Chopra ji, and Gopal Swami ji, Chancellor National Sanskrit University, Kumud Sharma ji, GVR Krishnamurti garu, Srinivas Rao garu, Dharma Reddy garu, Alwar ji, please, you should give him a big round of applause. He is the one who has contemplated this whole concept. And Hare Krishna Satpati ji. Then all my dear students from Sampradaya Pathashala, please give them an applause. Vaidika Vishwavidyalaya, National Sanskrit University, Bharati Vidya Bhavan, all the teachers, faculty, B.Ed students, and my dear friends. This place is not new to me. I am related to the Sanskrit University. Then you may be surprised how I am related. I will tell you. My father-in-law has worked here. He is Dr. Harihar Jha, and he is Mahamahopadhyaya. This university has given him Mahamahopadhyaya Award, sir. And unfortunately, he passed away on 23rd May. And in this, I think in the same platform, he got the award. And I am sharing the platform with the respected luminaries today. And I feel blessed today. Really, I feel blessed. Thank you so much, God, for giving me this opportunity. And I will tell you a few things. This will be little bit, you take it with a pinch of salt. First, I will tell you what is AKAM, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Since I am Joint Secretary looking after Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, it is my duty to tell you what AKAM is. AKAM, it provides an opportunity in the whole country to know its culture, to know its heritage, to know its achievements, and to prepare the roadmap for 2047. And మీకు అందరికీ చెప్పడం ఏంటంటే, నేను ఈ రాష్ట్రంలో పుట్టిన దాన్ని కాబట్టి కొంచెం తెలుగులో కొంచెం ఇంగ్లీష్లో మాట్లాడతాను, సంస్కృతం రాదు. సో మేము మోర్ దెన్ 2 lakh ఈవెంట్స్ చేసాం ఆ ఆజాదీ కా అమృత్ మహోత్సవ్లో. దిస్ ఈజ్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద బిగ్గెస్ట్ అచీవ్మెంట్స్. And you should all give a big round of applause to Ministry of Culture, to yourself, to myself, to all our people of the country. And we have commemorated unsung heroes who have participated in our freedom struggle. And there is our website is there, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav ka website. You can all visit that website. More than 10,000 unsung heroes have find a mention in our website. So this is the way we want to celebrate, and we want to recognize, we want to acknowledge the services rendered by these great personalities in our country. And Sanskrit Mahotsav, Sanskrit Sammelan, what we are doing, it is a brainchild in the Ministry of Academy, in the Ministry of Culture. It's a brainchild of our Secretary Culture, our Minister, our Honorable Prime Minister. And in this, Alwarji and Sahitya Academy has come forward for taking it forward. And why this convention? So many questions are there. Why national convention? Why national convention is being held in Tirupati? And what is our role? It is not just that we should come, speak few lines and go back. That is not the job. You are all the ambassadors. You are all learning Sanskrit. You are the ambassadors of the Sanskrit. And Sanskrit we should not view as a language. We should view it as a way of life. As Ranjana has told in the beginning, Sanskrit is there from our childhood. When we are born, we know the Sanskrit. When we are growing up in our age, every day and every ritual we have Sanskrit with us. So we should not view this as a language to be taught in the schools, in the colleges. Every one of us should learn this Sanskrit. And now what has to be done? As an ambassadors in Sanskrit, I feel that we should resolve in this convention that all of you should at least teach one person Sanskrit. And why Sanskrit is required as a language? It is required because all our scriptures are there in Sanskrit. All our cultural richness is there in the Sanskrit. As a person, as a citizen of this country, we should all know this. What is the culture, heritage, richness we have in our country? So for that purpose, we should know the Sanskrit language. Okay? So please, all of you should pledge today. After going back, you should find your own student. Maybe your mother, maybe your father, maybe your brother, maybe your sister, maybe your friend, anyone. You teach one person Sanskrit language, which is the normal nuances of the Sanskrit, and that generates interest in them, and then they take it further. So if that is achieved, I think the purpose of this convention is done. Sir, Sanskrit, you told us why we have picked up Sanskrit. Ranjana has answered very correctly. Tirupati is Adigo Alladivo Sri Hari Vasamu. Ye Hari ka bhumi hai. Ye Sri Hari Balaji Venkateshwara is land of Venkateshwara. So no place can be better than this place. And we have all the reasons, and we are all very, very comfortable, very confident of when we selected this place. And the teaching Sanskrit to Sanskrit children is not the aim. The main aim of this convention is to create awareness among you that you are blessed people, you are learning such a beautiful language, and now this blessing should be transferred to others. And our main aim is to transfer and make it Janbhagidari, and more people should come under the ambit. Today, there are only 24,000 people are there who speak Sanskrit. But this language is 24,000. It should be translated in lakhs, in crores, in millions and billions. So this should be our aim. That is the aim of the Sanskrit convention. Not that teaching Sanskrit to you, sir, and not teaching Sanskrit to these young minds. And we are using them as a potential ambassadors to teach, to inculcate the spirit of Sanskrit in each and every mind of our country, especially the younger generations. That is our main target, sir. And in this target, my dear children, you should remember one thing. There should not be arrogance. Because you know the language, you should not feel yourself arrogant. You should feel privileged that God has given you this opportunity to teach others. So that should be with that spirit only we all should work, and we should feel privileged. And yesterday I have attended your rally also, which is a 4-kilometer rally. Some of the quotations you have done very well yesterday, and I repeat this, please do that now. Kante Kante Sanskrita Bhasha, please. Kante Kante Sanskrita Bhasha, please repeat. Swase Swase Sanskrita Bhasha, Jayatu Jayatu Sanskrita Bhasha, Thank you so much. This is my Rashtra Bhasha, my Desa Bhasha, my Muni Bhasha, my Shastra Bhasha. This Bhasha has to be percolated down. The day it is achieved, the Ministry of Effort, the culture of the Ministry of Efforts is achieved. Thank you so much.
धन्यवादाः। अधुना अहं सम्प्रार्थये धर्मारेड्डी महाभागान् सन्देशप्रदानाय।
श्री वेंकटाचलाधीशं श्रियाध्याशितवक्षसं श्रितचेतनमन्दारं श्रीनिवासमहं भजे. Today's chief guest, Governor of Kerala, Chancellor of National Sanskrit University, Sri Gopalaswamy. I remember my association with him when he was Home Secretary. I was a director in MHA. That association still continues and strengthened for a period of time. All the dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries, distinguished guests, faculty, and students. I just would like to practically demonstrate the benefits of Sanskrit learning and reciting of Sanskrit slokas and mantras, which our ancient texts have given to us. When entire world was reeling under corona grip, nobody was coming out, and even Tirupati Devasthanam, for the first time in the history of Tirumala temple, had to close down the temple for the darshan of pilgrims. During that time, there was no medicine for corona, and nobody was willing to talk to anybody. That kind of situation was existing. At that point of time, I organized a meeting of all the professors from National Sanskrit University and my own institutes, Sri Vedic University, SV Oriental College, Veda Vijnana Peetham, and Music and Dance College. I organized about learned 20 to 25 professors, and then we deliberated the solution, how to find a solution from our ancient texts for this corona. The allopathic medicine or Ayurvedic medicine or homeopathic medicine, they are doing their exercise. Let us do our exercise. How best we can give courage to people, and we can also try to solve this problem. In that search, we found in Yoga Vasistam Vishuchika Mahamantra. The Vishuchika Mahamantra, in that we found a solution. If this Vishuchika Mahamantra is recited in a prescribed manner, the lungs will get strengthened, the throat will definitely kill the virus which is coming through throat to the lungs, and your brain concentration increases, brain gets strengthened, and then the person who recites this Mahamantra will definitely fight effectively the coronavirus. That we found the solution, and surprisingly, this Vishuchika, that is virus, during Treta Yuga had come from Himalayas, outside, other side of the Himalayas. I will just 6-minute video which we did, and I will present this video. In addition to that, we thought of Bhagavad Gita Sloka Parayanam and Dhanvantari Mantra Parayanam, Sundarakanda Mahamantra Parayanam, and so many slokas, mantras from our ancient texts. We started in a prescribed manner through Sri Venkateshwara Bhakti channel. We started telecasting from Tirumala. So I will just display this video audio recording of Vishuchika Mahamantra and the Sanskrit power, the recitation of Sanskrit slokas, how it will be useful for your health, and how it strengthens your brain concentration, and how it improves your memory. All these things we will demonstrate. Thereafter, I will close my speech. Thank you. Display.
अथ श्रीवासिष्ठमहारामायणे वाल्मीकीये उत्पत्तिप्रकरणे 69तमः सर्गः। श्रीवसिष्ठ उवाच अथ वर्षसहस्रेण तां पितामह आययौ दारुणं हि तपःसिद्ध्यै विषाग्निरपि शीतलः मनसैव प्रणम्यैनं सा तथैव स्थिता सती को वरः क्षुच्छमायालम् इति चिन्तान्विता भवतु आस्मृतं प्रार्थयिष्येऽहम् वरमेकमिमं विभुम् अनायसी चायसी च स्यामहं जीवसूचिका अस्योक्त्या द्विविधा सूचिः भूत्वा लक्ष्याविशाम्यहम् प्राणिनां सह सर्वेषां हृदयं सुरभिर्यथा यथाभिमतमेतेन ग्रसेयं सकलं जगतो क्रमेण क्षुद्विनाशाय क्षुद्विनाशः परं सुखम् इति सञ्चिन्तयन्तीं ताम् उवाच कमलालयः अन्या दृश्यास्तथा दृष्ट्वा स्तनिताभ्ररवोपमम् ब्रह्मोवाच पुत्रिकर्कटिके रक्षः कुलशैलाभ्रमालिके उत्तिष्ठ त्वं तु तुष्टोऽस्मि गृहाणाभिमतं वरम् कर्कट्युवाच भगवन् भूतभव्येश स्यामहं जीवसूचिका अनायसी चायसी च विधेर्पयसि चेद्वरम् श्रीवसिष्ठ उवाच एवमस्त्विति तामुक्त्वा पुनराह पितामहः सूचिकासोपसर्गा त्वं भविष्यसि विशोचिका सूक्ष्मया मायया सर्वलोकहिंसां करिष्यसि दुर्भोजना दुरारम्भाः मूर्खा दुःस्थितयश्च ये दुर्देशवासिनो दुष्टाः तेषां हिंसां करिष्यसि प्रविश्य हृदयं प्राणैः पद्मप्लीहादिबाधनात् वातलेखात्मिका व्याधिः भविष्यसि विशोचिका सगुणं विगुणं चैव जनमासादयिष्यसि गुणान्वितचिकित्सार्थं मन्त्रोऽयं तु मयोच्यते ब्रह्मोवाच हिमाद्रेरुत्तरे पार्श्वे कर्कटी नाम राक्षसी विशोचिकाभिधाना सा नाम्नाप्यन्यायबाधिका तस्याः मन्त्रः ॐ ह्रीं ह्रां ह्रीं रां विष्णुशक्तये नमः। ॐ नमो भगवति विष्णुशक्तिमेनाम्। ॐ हर हर नय नय पच पच मथ मथ उत्सादय उत्सादय दूरे कुरु स्वाहा। हिमवन्तं गच्छ जीवा सह 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 चन्द्रमण्डलगतोऽसि स्वाहा इति मन्त्री महामन्त्रं न्यस्य वामकरोदरे मार्जयेदातुराकारं तेन हस्तेन संयुतः हिमशैलाभिमुख्येन विद्रुतां तां विचिन्तयेतु कर्कटीं कर्कशाक्रन्दां मन्त्रमुद्गरमर्दिताम् आतुरं चिन्तयेच्चन्द्रे रसायनहृदि स्थितम् अजरामरणं युक्तं मुक्तं सर्वाधिविभ्रमैः साधको हि शुचिर्भूत्वा स्वाचान्तः सुसमाहितः क्रमेणानेन सकलां प्रोच्छिनत्ति विशोचिकाम् इति गगनगतः त्रिलोकनाथः गगनगसिद्धगृहीता सिद्धमन्त्रः गतः उपगतशक्रवन्द्यमानः निजपुरम् अक्षयम् आयम् उज्ज्वलश्रीः इत्यार्षे श्रीवासिष्ठमहारामायणे वाल्मीकीये उत्पत्तिप्रकरणे विशोचिकामन्त्रकथनं नाम एकोनसप्ततितमः सर्गः।
So this Vishuchika Mahamantra we propagated, sir, and TTD has 3 big hospitals. Sri Venkateswara Institute of Medical Sciences, where we have got about 1300 beds, and Balaji Institute of Research and Rehabilitation for Disabled, we have about 400 beds. So these hospitals, while treating corona patients, they also prescribed doctors for the patients to recite this mantra so that they will get benefit of this mantra and they can prevent or cure the corona. Similarly, after finding this kind of benefits we are deriving from recitation of Sanskrit slokas and mantras, we have decided through Sri Venkateswara Bhakti channel, which we run in 4 variants: Telugu, Tamil, Kannada and Hindi. Our Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Shastra of Patanjali Maharshi, all these texts, original texts, whatever written by original author, Vyasa Maharshi. So we wanted to, as it is, each sloka, our Pravachanakarta will explain. Sanskrit sloka we take and explain in local language, and thereafter from that Itihasa or Purana or Bhagavad Gita or any text what we are transmitting through SVBC, we are making them to recite all these slokas in Sanskrit. So through SVBC channel, the TTD is propagating Sanskrit learning, Sanskrit sloka and mantra reciting among all in entire world. Our channel is so popular that now since it is in 4 variants, almost daily average 8 crore people are watching SVBC. So what Gopala Swami sir said that Sanskrit we are forgetting, and how to again revive this Sanskrit. Revival of Sanskrit will have this kind of huge benefits. Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to Sahitya Akademi and NSU. Sri Akantaya Kalyana Nidhaye Nidayartinam Sri Venkata Nivasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam Buddhir Bhalam Yashodhairyam Nirbhayatvam Arogita Ajadyam Vak Patutvancha Hanumat Smaranat Bhavet.
विशेषसन्देशं दत्तवद्भ्यः धन्यवादाः। अधुना अहं सम्प्रार्थये देवभूमितः समागतान् राज्यपालमहोदयान् विशिष्टसन्देशाय।
Shri N. Gopala Swami Ji, Chancellor, National Sanskrit University, Professor G.S.R. Krishnamurthy, Vice Chancellor, Shrimati Ranjana Chopra, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Culture, Shrimati Uma Nanduri, Joint Secretary, Shri A.V. Dharma Reddy, Executive Officer, Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, Dr. K. Srinivas Rao, Secretary, Sahitya Akademi, Professor Kumud Sharma, Vice President, Sahitya Akademi, Sammani Deviyo Sajjano, Namaskaram. We are meeting here in the city of Tirupati, Sanskrit University, which is the seat of Lord Venkateshwara, and I'm coming from Kerala. Therefore, I thought that I should start with paying my reference to Lord and use the words of a young Malayali girl whose name we do not know. But 4 lines which she composed while standing before the deity have become immortal. Ratna karas tav giraham jaya cha lakshmi kimdeyam asti bhavte purushottamay abhir gopa lalna hirta manasaya dattam manume toritam girhan, which means she says, and she's a young girl, she's not grown-up person. She says, Lord, you live in a place which is full of pearls, ratna karas, and wealth and prosperity is your wife. So what can I offer you? I have nothing to offer you. But I know one thing, that your heart has been stolen by the Gopikas of Vrindavan. Therefore, the only thing I can offer you is my heart. Please take it immediately. I am so grateful to Sahitya Akademi, Sanskrit University, Mysore Sanskriti Sansthanam. This event which you have organized, you have invited me. So in fact, words are not adequate to give expression to my feelings here. this is an assembly of scholars and students of Sanskrit, a language which is custodian of our eternal values, Sanatan Mulya, Adarsh, ideals, and the most important instrument that has ensured continuity of our ancient civilization. So once again, here, Shri Gopala Swamiji had expressed some concern about the teaching of Sanskrit. I share his concern. But I think events like this are very helpful in creating awareness among the people, because I agree with Shri A.V. Dharma Reddy that we need to tell people how beneficial is the study of Sanskrit. Once they become aware of that, even if you don't teach Sanskrit in government schools, they will learn it on their own. Everybody goes for things which benefit them. So from that angle, I feel that this is a very, very significant and important initiative which you have taken. And this I have said that Sanskrit is the most important medium to ensure the continuity of our ancient civilization. Indian civilization and culture was known as knowledge civilization. And that knowledge finds expression through Sanskrit language. In fact, I recall the words of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. He said, I love India, not because I cultivate the idolatry of geography, not because I have had the good fortune to be born in her soil, but I love India because she has saved, very ringing words, she has saved through tumultuous ages the living words which issued from the illuminated consciousness of her children. India has been able to preserve those words of wisdom. Just now when I was going through exhibition, the manuscripts, in the new form, the old books which you are publishing, they all remind us that ours is an ancient civilization, and among ancient civilization, Indian civilization is one which has maintained its continuity. Greece is an old civilization. Egypt is an old civilization. But the present generation has no connection with the old ideals and values. In fact, they are finding in some places even the language has not been even deciphered. Credit goes to this country, the educated class particularly. And in fact, I know that the tumultuous ages which Gurudev is referring to, during those tumultuous ages, many families had migrated even to hill areas with their ancient books because they thought it was necessary to carry these books to areas where they will be out of danger of being lost. So India has this thing, and the Vice Chancellor of the, former Vice Chancellor of the Mysore University, Dr. B.N. Seal, who was a contemporary of Swami Vivekananda, he has in his book coined a beautiful phrase. He says, India is ever aging but never old. Shankaracharya, in his Gita Bhashya, ancient is Puran. So this is how he has, in his Bhashya, in his commentary, what he has said about Purana. Pura api nav evati Purana. It is ancient, but the weaknesses of the old age are not associated with Purana. It is Purana. But Purana is something which is free from the weaknesses of the old age. And this is how Srimad Bhagavad Gita defines Atma. Na jayate miriyate va kadachit. Nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya. Ajo nityam shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamani sharire. So India without Sanskrit is not India. Absolutely clear. This is not what I am saying. So many of our luminaries have said this earlier, that if you lose this language, if you lose your ancient literature, then India will not remain India. So this is how they have defined it. And I would also like to refer to, again, to Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore to understand what India stands for and how India should be identified, how Indian civilization and culture must be understood. He says, India cannot attain true freedom unless it is recognized that her foundation is in mind, which with its diverse powers and confidence in those powers goes on all the time creating Swaraj for itself. This again explains the meaning of Purana. We have inherited a great cultural heritage, but to live in the awareness that what we have inherited is unique is fatal. What we have inherited must be invested in new ventures. That has been the Indian way of doing things. We have never rested with this feeling that whatever we have achieved, the new generations have kept contributing to what we have inherited from earlier generations. And I'm also, I will use it later, I do not know who has said it. Maybe here scholars will know about it. It has been said, Bharatasya pratishthe dve, Sanskritam Sanskriti tatha. The India's prestige depends on two sources. One, the Sanskrit language, and other, the Indian culture. And then further it has been said, Sanskriti Sanskritar Shrita. Your culture depends on Sanskrit language. Your civilization springs from Sanskrit language. That is the importance of Sanskrit. Why Sanskrit is important? As I said, this is custodian of the ancient civilization of India. And what is Indian civilization and Indian culture? Again, the question is, how come it has continued, whereas other ancient civilizations have declined, but it has continued? Because this is one civilization which is not defined either by race, by language, or even by faith tradition. Everything, every parameter which is exclusive, which leaves out a large number of people outside the fold, they have not been used to define Indian civilization and Indian culture. Indian culture has been defined by Atma. We often say that young Shankaracharya, who was born in Kerala, he went all over the country, lived only for 31 years. 32 years. But he established 4 mutts in different parts of the country to build the unity of India. I do not find this statement very appropriate, because buildings do not create unity. What is important is that Shankaracharya took 4 Mahavakyas from 4 Vedas and gave to each mutt 1 Mahavakya. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. Prajnanam Brahma, I am Atma Brahma. All meaning almost the same. Basically highlighting the fact that the Indian civilization, Indian thought leaders, and he never claimed to have given some original teachings. That is again important. He was merely reinterpreting our ancient text, but he reinterpreted the ancient text in accordance with the requirements of the demands of the times in which he was living, in which people were living. So in that sense, it was original. But he never claimed originality. Because Indian culture is defined by Atma, all inclusive. I often give this example. We are a 75-year-old democracy. Not that the concept of democracy was unknown to India. No, that is not right. But India was politically fragmented. In ancient times, even in Mahabharata we read that Yayati had cursed his son who went to Mathura. One was Puru and other was Yadu. He cursed him because he had refused to take the old age of Yayati onto himself. He had cursed him that you will never become king, although he was the eldest son. And Puru had succeeded him. Then Yayati, where he was, Yadu, where he went? He went to Mathura. And Mahabharata informs us that Mathura was never ruled by a king, it was ruled by a council. So not that democracy was unknown to us. Even in Bihar, in many parts, they were called Ganrajyas, democracies. But the fact remains that for very long period of time, India remained politically deeply fragmented. Even in 1947, there were more than 600 princely states in India. Now, 1,000 years back, realizing that possibly he cannot undo this political fragmentation, therefore Adi Shankar, I look at it from this angle, that in a politically fragmented subcontinent, he created this awareness that culturally and spiritually we are one unit. And possibly if that had not happened 1,000 years back, the task of Sardar Patel to create the kind of unity which we see today, possibly that would not have been so smooth or so easy as it happened. Because Shankaracharya had created that great awareness that we are culturally and spiritually, we are one people. And it is because of that, and also, if I can give another example, that we are 75-year-old democracy. In the world, there are democracies which are much older, but they never gave voting rights to the women. India, with 17% of literacy rate in 1947, started with universal franchise. Can we say that those people are not good and we are very good people? No. Human beings are essentially same. Same desires, same hopes. Why this difference? Why India with 17% literacy rate started with universal franchise, whereas other countries, they did not? It is a cultural difference. Till only, say, in the last century, or early part of the last century, they believed that women do not have soul. Black people do not have Atma. And somebody who does not have Atma, we have a right to exploit that. On the other hand, in India, our thought leaders told us, 1,000 years, we do not know exactly, maybe 4,000, maybe 5,000, or maybe, as the recent investigations are showing, older than that. Then our thought leaders told us that not only women and men, even plants, even animals, birds, insects, everyone has Atma, and we have no right to hurt them. And that is why the highest Sanatan ideal, highest Indian ideal, the goal of life of man is ekatmata, integration of personality, which reconciles an individual to her own self, to the society, and to the Supreme Spirit. That is the highest Indian ideal. And that, to support that highest Indian ideal, realize this, if I have really understood this message of ekatmata, I have internalized the message. I understand the significance and gravity of the message. Will it remain possible for me to step on the feet of any other person? Again, if I may refer to Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, while accepting the Nobel Prize in Stockholm, he quoted from Upanishad. And Gita, from Gita you can quote shlok after shlok on the same subject. But he quoted from Upanishad. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanye vanu pashyati. Sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na viju gupse. One who has realized And actually, even before that, so kama yata bahusyam pirjayet, we talk about unity, diversity. Actually, this diversity that we see, it is from unity. And because it is from unity, Swami Vivekananda was asked, he said, "See, what is the purpose of life?" Generally, it is believed pursuit of happiness. He said, pursuit of happiness cannot be the purpose of life. Because if pursuit of happiness is the purpose of life, what will prevent me to make you unhappy in order to secure more happiness for myself? Then what is the purpose of life? The purpose of life is pursuit of knowledge. Tapa swadhyay nirittam. Ever devoted to the pursuit of knowledge. And then what is the purpose of knowledge? To have developed the ability to see unity behind diversity. The underlying unity behind apparent diversity. When you develop that ability, then naturally, this world, this I am saying with all, I do not know what words I should use. I am saying with all sincerity. This world is afflicted with so many divisions, so many discriminations, so many differences. People are looking for something which can bring all the people together regardless of their origin. Vedanta has that quality. Indian culture has that quality. Why? Because it does not discriminate. The only basis for it is Atma. All those who possess Atma, it says they are all internally, spiritually interlinked. And that is why we say that what goes around comes around. I think I have already taken a lot of time, so I should conclude now. And I will say that there are two lines from a Sanskrit text which say that sansar vish virakshasya dui phale amritopame. Kavya Shastra. Where you enjoy the classics and you enjoy the company, this poison, the world has been compared to a poisonous tree, and it has been asserted that this poisonous tree has two fruits of inimitable quality. And they are the company of the noble people, erudite people, and the opportunity to enjoy the classics, the literature. You have provided both the opportunities. Therefore, I would like to compliment you again and thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I hope that all this conference is going to be there for 2 days. So all these sessions to be very fruitful, and you will find out ways how to reach out people to understand the importance and benefits which flow from the study of the Sanskrit language. And your deliberations will help not only people to understand, but once they understand, then I'm sure they will take to the study of Sanskrit. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, valle nanni jai hind.
महावाक्य चतुष्टयम् गीताश्लोकाः रवीन्द्रनाथ ठाकुराणां वचनं संस्कृतं संस्कृतिः अद्वैतचिन्तनं शङ्कराचार्याणां भाष्यं काव्यशास्त्रविनोदेन कालो गच्छति धीमताम् इत्यादि सद्वचनैः अस्मान् अनुगृहीतवन्तः अस्माकं प्रियतमाः केरलराज्यपालाः आरिफ् खान् महाभागाः। तेषां ज्ञानं तु अत्यद्भुतं वर्तते, तेषां सन्देशः अस्माभिः शिरसा पाल्यते। देवभूमितः भूवैकुण्ठं प्रति समागताः ते वर्तन्ते। अस्माकम् उद्बोधनाय तेषाम् अस्माकं पक्षतः अनेके धन्यवादाः समर्प्यन्ते। धन्यवादाः। अधुना अहं सम्प्रार्थये कन्क्लूषन् रिमार्क्स् परिसमाप्ति वचनार्थं वैस् प्रेसिडेण्ट् कुमुद शर्मा जी सम्प्रार्थये आगत्य परिसमाप्ते निवेदनं परिसमर्पयन्तु इति।
नमस्कार। इस गरिमामय समारोह के मुख्य अतिथि केरल के राज्यपाल महामहिम माननीय आरिफ मोहम्मद खान साहब, नेशनल संस्कृत यूनिवर्सिटी के चांसलर श्री एन गोपाल स्वामी जी, नेशनल संस्कृत यूनिवर्सिटी के कुलपति प्रोफेसर GR स्वामी कृष्णमूर्ति जी, संस्कृति मंत्रालय की एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी और फाइनेंशियल एडवाइज़र रंजना चोपड़ा जी, संयुक्त सचिव श्रीमती उमा नंदुरानी जी, श्री AV धर्मा रेड्डी जी, साहित्य अकादमी के सचिव के श्रीनिवास राव जी और इस सभागार में उपस्थित सभी विद्वज्जन। हमने बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण वक्तव्यों को सुना और इन वक्तव्यों के ज़रिए संस्कृत का वैभव जैसे सभागार में बिखर गया। संस्कृत के गौरवशाली अध्यायों के जैसे हमने पन्ने पलट लिए हों। कल से यहाँ पर हूँ, कल शाम को इसी परिसर में संस्कृत की शोभा यात्रा निकली थी। मैं शामिल नहीं हो पाई थी, लेकिन श्रीनिवास राव जी ने मेरे पास उसके चित्र भेजे थे और चित्र में मैंने देखा कि बहुत बड़ी संख्या में लोग उसमें शामिल हुए और उनके हाथों में तख्तियाँ थीं। संस्कृतम पठत, कुछ इस तरह से, वदत संस्कृतम पठत संस्कृतम लोकहिताय संस्कृतम। इन सब को पढ़कर मुझे लगा जैसे संस्कृत का स्वाभिमान बोल रहा है। आज सुबह इस प्रांगण में आए तो पूजा अर्चना हो रही थी, यजुर्वेद के मंत्र गूंज रहे थे। अभी फिल्म दिखाई गई थी जिसमें कहा गया कि संस्कृत के जब मंत्र गूंजते हैं तो आप आध्यात्म में जैसे नहा लेते हैं, स्नान कर लेते हैं और आपके भीतर एकाग्रता का संचार होता है। आप संस्कृत के श्लोक आपकी स्मृति क्षमता को भी बढ़ाते हैं और ये मैंने भी महसूस किया। इस परिसर में जब प्रवेश कर रही थी तो किनारे किनारे तख्तियाँ लगी हुई थी जिस पर संस्कृत के सुभाषित लिखे हुए थे। मुझे याद आया कि संस्कृत साहित्य का जो रचनात्मक फलक है वो इन्हीं सुभाषितों से गूंजता रहा है और वो हम सब के कानों में पड़ती रही हैं। वसुधैव कुटुम्बकम, असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, अहिंसा परमो धर्मः, जननी क्या है वो, जननी जन्म भूमिश्च सर्गवादिपि गरीयसी, अतिथि देवो भाव। और मुझे लगता है कि जब हम कहते हैं कि संस्कृत देववाणी है, अमृत भाषा है, तो वो देववाणी और अमृत भाषा इसलिए है कि वो भारतीय अस्मिता की वाणी है, भारतीय संस्कृति की वाणी है और वो वाणी हमें भारतीय ढांचे में ढालती आई है। उसी वाणी ने हमें भारतीयता का ढांचा दिया है और उसी वाणी ने, उसी संस्कृत ने हमें प्रेम का, विश्वास का, उदारता का, सच्चरित्रता का मंत्र दिया है। उसी ने बताया है कि पूरा विश्व करुणा, प्रेम और सद्भाव से जुड़ता है, बाजार भाव से नहीं जुड़ता जिस तरह से आज जुड़ता है। लेकिन विडंबना ये है कि उसी संस्कृत भाषा के लिए सुनाई पड़ा कि संस्कृत मृत भाषा है, संस्कृत केवल कर्मकांड की भाषा है, संस्कृत रोजगार की भाषा नहीं है, और संस्कृत को रोजगार विहीन भाषा बनाकर हमने अपने युवाओं को संस्कृत से विमुख कर दिया। ये बहुत बड़ी विडंबना रही। लेकिन जैसा कि आरिफ साहब ने बताया कि संस्कृत है तो संस्कृति, और संस्कृत से ही हमारी तमाम भारतीय भाषाओं का उद्गम होता है। एकात्मकता की बात अभी की गई। सारी भारतीय भाषाओं के बीच तो एकात्मकता का जो सूत्र है वो उसका सांस्कृतिक कर्म है, उसके मूल सांस्कृतिक सरोकार हैं, और वो सांस्कृतिक सरोकार, उसकी निर्मिति में संस्कृत की भूमिका अहम है। एक जीवंत भाषा के माध्यम के रूप में संस्कृत हमारे तत्व ज्ञान में, दर्शन में, चिंतन में समाविष्ट होती रही है, जैसा कि वक्तव्यों से भी जाहिर हुआ। जब कोई भारतीय इस तरह की बात करता है तो अक्सर कह दिया जाता है कि बहुत भावुक है, और एक भारतीय भावुक मन के दावे हैं। इसलिए मैं 2 कोटेशन यहाँ पर रखना चाहूँगी। अमेरिका के विश्व प्रसिद्ध इतिहासकार हैं विल ड्यूरेंट, और विल ड्यूरेंट संस्कृत के प्रति और उससे निश्चित संस्कृति के प्रति कैसी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करते हैं, ये कहने और देखने की बात है। और आरिफ मोहम्मद खान साहब के पूरे वक्तव्य की पुष्टि इससे हो जाती है। मैं उन्हीं के शब्दों में पढ़ रही हूँ, विल ड्यूरेंट के शब्दों में। इंडिया वॉज द मदरलैंड ऑफ आवर रेस एंड संस्कृत द मदर ऑफ यूरोप्स लैंग्वेजेस। शी वॉज द मदर ऑफ आवर फिलोसफी, मदर through the Arabs of much of our mathematics, mother through the Buddha of the ideals embodied in Christianity, mother through the village community of self-government and democracy. Mother India is in many ways the mother of us all. ये विल ड्यूरेंट कह रहे हैं। इंग्लैंड के एक प्रसिद्ध विद्वान है विलियम जोन्स, जो कि एशियाटिक सोसाइटी ऑफ बंगाल के फोर्ट विलियम के न्यायाधीश थे। 1786 में वो क्या कह रहे हैं? वो कह रहे हैं कि संस्कृत भाषा चाहे जितनी पुरानी हो, मगर वो है अद्भुत रचना, और वो ग्रीक भाषा से अधिक पूर्ण है और लैटिन भाषा से अधिक स्वतंत्र है, और इन दोनों से अधिक परिष्कृत है। लेकिन दोनों के साथ इसका धातु, क्रिया और व्याकरण इतना मिला जुला है कि अगर इस मिलाप को कोई भाषा शास्त्री देखे और इसकी परीक्षा करे तो लगेगा कि ये सबका स्रोत एक ही है। और वो एक स्रोत जो है, जो उन्होंने बताया, विल ड्यूरेंट ने बताया। तो जो संस्कृत है वो ज्ञान का अक्षय भंडार है। हम प्रदर्शनी देख रहे थे, तो उस प्रदर्शनी में जो पांडुलिपियाँ थी संस्कृत की, वो बता रही थी वहाँ उस संस्कृत में योग का शास्त्र भी है, दर्शन शास्त्र भी है, न्याय मीमांसा भी है, उसमें ज्योतिष विज्ञान भी है, उसमें विज्ञान भी है, उसमें तर्कशास्त्र भी है। तो संस्कृत में ज्ञान का, विज्ञान का अक्षय कोश है, जिससे हमें जुड़ने की ज़रूरत है और युवा पीढ़ी को जोड़ने की ज़रूरत है। अगर इतिहास में जाएं, इतिहास के पन्नों को खोलें, तो मुगल आए, अंग्रेज़ आए, सब ने संस्कृत की आवश्यकता को महसूस किया, अपने अपने कारणों से किया। किसी ने रसायन शास्त्र के लिए, किसी ने योग के लिए संस्कृत सीखी, किसी ने संस्कृत के ग्रंथों का फारसी में अनुवाद करने के लिए संस्कृत सीखी। दारा शिको बनारस आए, बनारस में आकर के उन्होंने संस्कृत सीखी और उपनिषदों का अनुवाद फारसी में किया। महमूद गजनबी ने अपने सिक्कों को भारतीय सिक्का कहलाने के लिए उस पर कलमा जो है संस्कृत में टंकित करवाया। विदेश से भारतीय संस्कृति का ज्ञान लेने के लिए जो विद्वान आते रहे, वो निष्ठा के साथ, समर्पण के साथ संस्कृत सीखते रहे। आज अगर आप किसी विश्वविद्यालय के प्रांगण में हैं तो अक्सर आपसे विद्यार्थी पूछ सकते हैं कि हम संस्कृत क्यों पढ़ें, और मुझे लगता है जिसका जवाब आरिफ साहब ने दे दिया है कि आप संस्कृत क्यों पढ़ें। लेकिन ग्लोबलाइजेशन के दौर में, जिस दौर में कंप्यूटर का दौर जिसको कहा जाता है, हाई टेक्नोलॉजी का दौर कहा जाता है, और ये माना गया है कि कंप्यूटर पर सर्वाधिक उपयुक्त कोई भाषा है तो वो संस्कृत है। नासा ने भी इसको माना कि अंतरिक्ष में संदेश भेजने के लिए कोई उपयुक्त भाषा है तो वो संस्कृत है, क्योंकि संस्कृत में वाक्य की जो संरचना होती है उसमें शब्द इधर उधर कर दीजिए तो अर्थ पर कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, अर्थ वही होते हैं, संदेश जो भेजा जाएगा वही पहुंचेगा। तो संस्कृत इतनी वैज्ञानिक भाषा है कि जिस तरह से आप शब्द का उच्चारण करते हैं उसी तरह से उसका विन्यास है, उसी तरह से उसकी वर्तनी है। इससे अधिक वैज्ञानिक कोई भाषा नहीं है। मुझे याद आ रहे हैं मैथिली शरण गुप्त, जब संस्कृत पर बोल रही हूँ, मैथिली शरण गुप्त की भारत भारती स्वाधीनता का अमृत महोत्सव हम मना रहे हैं और नए भारत की तरफ हम बढ़ रहे हैं, जो सशक्त होता हुआ, समर्थ होता हुआ भारत है। भारत भारती में 2 पद जो हैं वो भाषा और व्याकरण के मैथिली शरण गुप्त ने लिखे थे, और वो जो 2 पद हैं उससे ले रही हूँ। भाषा हमारी देववाणी, श्रुति सुधा से है सनी, है कौन भाषा यो अमर व्युत्पत्ति रूपी प्राण से, रखती न एक भी भाषा संस्कृत समान महत्व है, पाणिनि सदृश व्याकरण संसार भर में कौन है, इस प्रश्न का सर्वत्र उत्तर उत्तरोत्तर मौन है। ये मुझे लगता है मैथिली शरण गुप्त को याद करना इस समय बहुत ज़रूरी है। कंप्यूटेशनल भाषा विज्ञान की बात हो रही है। ये वो भाषा विज्ञान है जो कंप्यूटर पर कौन सी भाषाएं सामंजस्य स्थापित कर सकती हैं, जिसमें कोडिंग और कमांड अच्छी तरह से हो सकता है, इसकी तरह के लिए अनुसंधान कर रहा है भाषा विज्ञान। और इस भाषा विज्ञान की शाखा संस्कृत विभाग में खुल रही है, और इसके लिए देश संस्कृत की तरफ देख रहा है। तो ये बदलती हुई परिस्थितियां हैं। संस्कृत मृत भाषा नहीं है, संस्कृत लोक भाषा रही है, जनभाषा रही है, और आज भी जनभाषा है। इसका एक प्रमाण है भारत के कुछ गांव, कर्नाटक के पास, कर्नाटक से 300, बेंगलुरु से 300 किलोमीटर की दूरी पर एक गांव है मुत्तूर गांव, जहां के सब लोग, बच्चा बच्चा वहां का संस्कृत बोलता है। दैनिक संचार संस्कृत में होता है, वहाँ होर्डिंग्स जो लगी हुई हैं उसमें संस्कृत लिखी हुई होती है। रायगढ़ के झिरी गांव में, राजस्थान के गांव में, मेरठ के पास, बागपत के पास एक गांव है, वहाँ पर संस्कृत बोली जाती है। तो संस्कृत बोलचाल की भाषा हो सकती है, संस्कृत है, संस्कृत लोक भाषा भी है, संस्कृत जन भाषा भी है। केवल निष्ठा की बात है, समर्पण की बात है कि हम उसकी आवश्यकता को कैसे महसूस करते हैं, उसकी प्रासंगिकता को कैसे समझते हैं। हमें यह मानकर चलना होगा कि हमारी सारी भारतीय भाषाओं का मूल संस्कृत है, और वही संस्कृत हमारा सांस्कृतिक सरोकार बचा कर के चलती है। हमारी सांस्कृतिक प्रक्रिया में राष्ट्रीय, मानवीय, सामाजिक भावों की, सरोकारों की जो भावना रही है, उसके लिए आपको संस्कृत से जुड़ना पड़ेगा। अगर संस्कृत मूल अगर नष्ट हो जाता है तो उसकी जो शाखाएं हैं भाषा के रूप में, वो स्वयं ही नष्ट हो जाएंगी। इसलिए मूल को बचाना बहुत ज़रूरी है। और मैं समझती हूँ कि आज 21वीं सदी का जो दौर है, कंप्यूटर का जो दौर है, आज संस्कृत की मांग, संस्कृत की अंतर्राष्ट्रीय क्षमता का विकास ज़रूरत है आज की। और भाषा शास्त्रियों के आंकड़े ये बता रहे हैं कि कंप्यूटर युग में संस्कृत आगे बढ़ेगी। संस्कृत के हम मुकापेक्षी हैं, और अगर बहुत सही कहा गया, इस मंच से बार बार ये बात उभर करके आई कि भारतीय सभ्यता और संस्कृति की निरंतरता अगर हम चाहते हैं तो संस्कृत के प्रवाह को अवरुद्ध नहीं करना होगा, संस्कृत भाषा के प्रवाह को और तेजी देनी होगी। ये 3 दिवस का जो सम्मेलन है, इस सम्मेलन में बहुत बड़ी संख्या में लोगों की भागीदारी है। 650 के लगभग लोग आज यहाँ आए हैं और 3 दिवस तक यहाँ लगातार सत्र होंगे, उसमें विचार विमर्श होगा। मैं आज के इस मंच के सभी अतिथियों को धन्यवाद देती हूँ, आप सबको धन्यवाद देती हूँ साहित्य अकादमी की तरफ से कि इतनी बड़ी संख्या में आप उपस्थित हैं और हमें विश्वास है कि 3 दिन तक संस्कृत भाषा को लेकर, साहित्य को जो लेकर यहाँ मंथन होगा, जो विचार होगा, आप सब यहाँ से जाएंगे तो संस्कृत की गूंज के, संस्कृत के स्वाभिमान के, संस्कृति की प्रगति के साक्षी बन करके जाएंगे। इन्हीं के साथ अपनी बात को यहाँ विराम देती हूँ। आप सब ने सुना, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
वेदिकायाम् अष्टरत्नानि सन्ति, नवरत्नानि न सन्ति इति न चिन्तनीयम्। अष्टरत्नेषु रत्नत्वं संस्कृतरत्नं यदा भवति तदैव भवति इति सन्देशं दत्तवद्भ्यः सर्वेभ्यः धन्यवादाः समर्प्यन्ते। अष्टरत्नेषु रत्नत्वप्रतिपादकं संस्कृतमेव नवमं रत्नं भवतु इति सन्देशं दत्तवद्भ्यः सर्वेभ्यः धन्यवादाः। अधुना राष्ट्रगीतेन अयं कार्यक्रमः समाप्तिमेति।
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मागे, गाहे तव जय गाथा। जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे, जय 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 हे।
मध्याह्ने 2 कार्यक्रमः